Hello everybody, welcome to Skyline Caverns. My name is William and I'll be your tour guide for today. Now before we officially begin, I'd like to give some brief history about the caverns. Skyline Caverns was discovered on December 17th, 1937 by Dr. Walter S. Amos. Dr. Amos was a retired geologist and mineralogist who was searching the Fort Royal, Virginia area for any openings in the ground. That's when he came across this ledge, which took about 18 inches from the ground. And with the ledge, he found a small colony of camel crickets. If you guys don't know what those are, they're pretty much like these small brown spider-like crickets that live in dark, damp places like attics, basement, and caverns. Now this right here is our chimney room. We call it that not because of the man-made fireplace right there, but because of the natural chimney right above it, or flue. Now in this area, you can see some of the basic formations that are found in the cavern. We have stalactites, the ones that hang tightly to the ceiling. Right below it, we have stalagmite. It might reach the top one day. And then we have flowstone formation, which is the one that looks like it's flowing downwards like a curtain. It can also be called dripstone or even ribbonstone. Alright. Now if you guys look above your head, you can see a fault line running across the ceiling. Now, fault lines usually indicate that an area is very tectonically active, or at least was. And for most of Virginia, the fault lines and tectonic plates are no longer active. If you guys start to follow me this way, just make sure you watch your step. We're about to see the first of 3 streams today. You guys wait back here, please. We have another tour coming by, just don't want to get mixed up. I'll fight you, baby. This stream has fish in it. That's
anything special with the spring?
Yeah, it's fish in it. I'll talk a little bit more about it when we.
At this point, we've walked about half a mile and completed the first loop of our figure 8. We will be heading down this way next, but this is the last time you guys will be seeing the fish, so make sure you say goodbye.
Water if you'd like, just watch your head. Please don't drop anything into it, especially yourself. Now we call this body of water trout stream, and we call it that because we put trout in there. We've been doing that since the 1950s to see how they adapt to the environment and to entertain customers. As of right now, we have about, I think, 5 rainbow trout in there, but they might not have a rainbow look to them, and that's because one of the adaptations we've noticed is that they will lose their coloring because there's no vitamin D down here for them to retain it. We also found that if we turned off the lights after leaving this area, they would eventually go blind, so we no longer do that. And we found that they can't reproduce down here because there's no vegetation to support the eggs. If you're curious where the water comes from, it comes from an underground aquifer that is replenished by water from the surface every 2 days. Are there any questions about trout stream or the trout in it?
So do you feed?
Yeah, we feed them every day.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Oh, because of lack of vegetation.
Yes. Now we will be back in the stream because we're going to go in a figure 8 rotation like you saw with the other group. Be sure to take your time and follow me up this way whenever you're ready. Rainbow Trails. It was the first place in the cavern where we installed colored lights. We did it to entertain the children, but we found the adults liked them too. Another good thing about these lights is unlike the other ones, they don't stimulate sunlight, so moss doesn't really grow in these rocks.
Whoa. That's cool.
Now, we did try to implement the colored lights as much as we could after learning that fact. However, we couldn't put them everywhere for safety reasons. For example, if you look above your head, you can see that we're using normal lights. You also see the basic formations that I mentioned earlier. And you can see some natural colors up there. Those are the natural minerals that make up the cavern. For example, there's a lot of white spots up there. That is calcium carbonate or calcite. You can find that in a lot of things like your bones, seashells, eggshells, and in tums. There's also a brownish color up there, which can appear orangish or reddish in some areas. That is iron oxide, aka rust. It's caused by the mud and clay that used to be here, and it's the most abundant mineral in the cavern. Finally, this bluish-grayish color is magnesium sulfate. The only special thing I have to say about it is that it's a main active ingredient in laxatives, so please don't lick it.
What?
The lake is a seepage pool, and pretty much what that means is that water slowly drips through the cracks of the ceiling into this area and form this body of water with no active source. Now, because it has no active source, it remains very still, and the stillness creates a reflection that kind of tricks you into thinking it's deeper than it actually is. For example, if you look way in the back, even though it looks like a couple feet deep, this body of water is only 2 to 3 inches deep. Now, I will admit, this is not the best view of Mirror Lake. There is a better view in the next room, which you guys can look at whenever you're done looking at this side of Mirror Lake. You guys can head into the next room. It is the second largest room in the cavern. We call it the Painted Desert. The side view of Mirror Lake in the back, because I think is the best view. And if you want to take a group photo anywhere, I recommend this room.
Okay. That's easy. I'm going to take the best photos. Shadow. Fishes in there, that's my question. Are there any fishies? It's big enough. Look at your face.
നിർത്തണം ഇത് ഇതിൽ സെൽഫി എന്ന് പറയാതെ I'll take you. What is that you like here so far?
Everything.
Hmm?
Everything.
Say me what you like here.
The streams.
Look for a minute.
The streams, because they're really nice to look at.
Lighting is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, you cannot even believe you are inside a cave.
So is it possible for stalagmites to form world without a stalactite on top of it?
Rarely, but if you're talking about these,
Right.
yes, that's because of the fact that we built this flat roof and we
Okay.
kind of had to get rid of the stalactites.
Gotcha.
But water still does drip on top of them, so
Okay.
they're still growing.
Right.
The reason we had to build the roof was because there was a lot of loose rocks and stuff.
Right.
So where do they build it?
So they built like this man-made roof right here, stretches all the whole area right there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How do they make that?
I think concrete. I had to. Yeah, I think so. Or they might have put in a different type of rock. I'm not 100% sure. A lot of the early documents have been been recovered, so a lot of what they did in here has been kind of lost.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was some kind of existing rock that they shaved off or.
Maybe that was possible. Yeah. Like like an example of like one of the documents being destroyed. We have a picture of Dr. Amos down here with a horse. We don't know why he brought in the horses, but there were horses down here at some point.
Probably bring supplies in.
Maybe, or maybe to help
Carries
dig
them
out
out.
the mud and clay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, there's a lot of early documents that we don't even know how many people we worked down here when we first found the cavern. They don't know that exact number.
Wow.
Now you guys can come gather around this way whenever you're ready.
Is it air conditioned or
Nope, natural.
natural?
Yep, this just remains this temperature because there's no sunlight, so that doesn't really affect it at all.
And it's not close enough to the surface to pick up heat.
Exactly.
And oxygen, no deficiency of oxygen either.
No, the oxygen is it just keeps flowing in, so.
Oh, you get pumped in.
But natural, it just naturally comes in, flows in. Yeah, I guess. Now, if you're curious how I was able to go over there and come back over here, well, that's because right below us is a man-made tunnel. And this tunnel loops around so I can trick you guys. If you were to stop in certain areas of the room, for example, right over here, you can actually hear an echo caused from the tunnel. Listen closely.
Whoa.
Yeah. There's other areas you can stop around in. And over there it's pretty good from what I hear. And I think there's a good spot over there near the cone. So you stop around, hear the echo, take photos of American Eagle, and then whenever you're ready, you can follow me into the next room and I'll take you guys through the man-made tunnel.
Downstairs.
Side.
Now there is a dip along the way to man-made tunnel, so watch your step. And the tunnel starts off with a low ceiling, so be sure to watch your head.
Wish me.
Around this area, you should be good.
So the puddles here just come because of the water pouring through the cracks?
Yep. Be sure to watch your head and watch your step as you go through Royal Gorge.
Is it a canal system or what?
That's where the waterfall would have been that I mentioned once earlier. Trout stream usually leads into a waterfall, but there's not a lot of water running today, so.
And what happens in the rainy season?
Oh, we get a lot of water.
So you get filled, even the trips are available then or no?
Yes. Well, we don't get like floods a lot. There's some areas that might get a little bit of water going through the passageways, but most of the passageways stay dry.
My question is if there is a heavy thunderstorm or anything, this cavern gets filled or how does it work?
So it wouldn't get filled at all, really. Just
Being below the ground.
yeah, it would just like it wouldn't even get like past your like ankles or anything. It's just a lot of water would come through, just not all together.
Oh, this is the place where we crossed the group.
Yep, yes it is.
So we are coming to the finishing point, almost.
This is actually the halfway point.
Okay. It's taking a bit of time to on. It didn't look like it.
Hi, Trout. Can I be your friend so we can eat some tacos later? Want to eat some tacos later? I promise they're not fish tacos. They're not fish tacos. They're regular tacos. Want to eat some tacos later?
Okay.
Eat some tacos later? Some tacos. I got some tacos.
Back at Trout Stream, this is the official halfway point of the tour. It may not feel like it, but you've walked about half a mile. This is the last time we'll be at the stream, so be sure to say goodbye to the trout.
And what is that bubbles coming there?
Oh, that's for oxidization in the water.
And the fishes grow here and they can survive here?
Yeah, we put them in here and they grow to their, and stay here for as long as they normally live. Or we take them out early in case the water gets too low and sometimes. That usually happens in the wintertime if we don't get a lot of snow. The water can get really low, so we have to take the fish out and take them back to where we got them, which was the Virginia Inland and Game Company. But yeah. Now you guys follow me this way. Just make sure you watch your head and watch your step. We're about to see Fairyland Lake. Make sure you watch your step on the left. Oh, it's getting close? Okay. First discovered this area, it was covered ceiling to floor, wall to wall in mud and clay. So Dr. Amos took a shovel, he put it into the mud and clay, and it got stuck. He tried pulling with all of his might and it still wouldn't budge. So eventually he had to get all of his men to come help him. They all pulled together and they finally got it out. But when they did, they heard a loud bang noise. And their working hats were then sucked into the next room. Now this happened because Dr. Amos and his men had broken a partial vacuum. And pretty much what a partial vacuum is where an area is so enclosed or packed in this case with mud and clay, that the force of it creates this empty space resembling kind of like a bubble in the upper half of the room. And this empty space obviously is filled with nothing, and that's why when Dr. Amos put a shovel in and took it out, that it kind of like popped it, so that's why he heard a loud bang. And because it was empty, air started to get sucked in, which is why the working hats were then sucked in. Now, eventually, because there was no way to close that opening, the partial vacuum collapsed, and the mud and clay kind of just slid out. When Dr. Amos got into this area, that's when he discovered a rare form of crystal that is only found here and in 3 other caverns in the entire world. So 4 places in total. The name of the crystal is Anthodite, which means cluster of flowers in Greek. And as the sign says, please do not handle, and that's because the Anthodites are very fragile and can break if you even tap them hard enough. If you are caught touching one, it can result in a $5,000 fine and up to 1 year in prison. So no touching. You guys follow me this way to see the Anthodites. So right up there, the white spiky crystals are the Anthodites.
What are the other caverns where you see this stuff?
So they're in, there's a cavern in New Mexico that has them, a cavern in Ohio, and a cavern in France. If you watch your head. You can see them right there too.
They look like fungus, huh?
Make sure you watch it. Okay.
Is it expensive or what?
It doesn't really have a set price, but if they were to be sold, they'd probably be expensive because of how rare they are.
Do they do anything with this crystal?
No, not really. We just conserve it.
How are these formed?
We don't exactly know. They only form in partial vacuums, so we don't really think we can learn how they form, because that's kind of like an empty space, and that's very hard to observe in natural state. Watch your step.
Oh, these ones, huh?
Yes.
Wow. It really like a grass, it's big, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
It looks like
I
sea
can,
pool in a way.
like what?
Sea pool,
Oh yeah, I've heard that before, yeah.
What is it?
coral.
And they are crystals, huh?
Yes.
Wow.
6-sided crystals.
And how fast they grow? Did they grow after that or no?
While they were in the vacuum, they grew, and for every inch, it was about 7,000 years. Yeah. But now that the vacuum is gone, they no longer grow.
That was going to be my question. So there's really no way to replicate them.
Not really. It'd be very difficult, and again, take 7,000 years.
Where are the other 3 places? You said
In Ohio, France, and New Mexico.
So were they also in a vacuum?
Yes. These only form in the vacuum, and that's why they're so rare, because vacuums themselves are pretty rare.
This was back in the 30s as well, when they discovered this.
From what we understand, yes, they discovered them in the 30s. room, so you guys take your photos, take your time, and follow me this way when you're ready.
Like, are those crystals as well, or?
Yes, that's just a different stage of its growth.
What is the question?
Are these also crystals?
Oh, they are also crystals?
Yes, those are also the crystals, just at a different stage.
So they won't grow anymore?
They won't grow anymore, so they're going to remain like that for
You can come back and see after 7,000 years and see if they grow.
See, that's a little tricky because in order to do that, we might end up breaking them. So if we try to reseal them into a vacuum, it could potentially break them or do something else to them, so we don't want to take a risk on that.
How old are they? You know?
Well, for each inch, it was estimated that it took about 7,000 years to form in the vacuum. So some of these are a couple tens of thousands.
When we come next time, probably 1 more inch.
Guys, there's more here. That is huge.
Do you know how long that is?
About 18 inches long.
So it's like a foot and 6 inches.
Yep.
Is that the biggest one here or the bigger one?
It's the biggest one in the entire world.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow! So this must have took boxes of like millions of years just for that.
They have this box thing that you can grow crystals. How does that work? No.
Not even.
That's not the same thing.
Not even the same.
Yeah, that's a different thing.
Then how come it grows so fast then?
Because
Yeah.
Is it possible for stalactites to grow off of the, if water were to drip off the crystals? Yeah.
Well, we haven't seen anything like that, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. That could create problems, though. That could like weigh it down.
Right.
But we have no proof that supports that. But then again, it does take 120 years for each inch. So
Right.
maybe.
Have you guys ever had any of this stuff just due to water or whatever, big pressure break itself?
Not usually. No, it only breaks when someone hammers a bit. Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yep.
Why is there like a little bit of pink on the crystal?
They can be stained by other things other than mud. They can be stained by certain minerals that are here, or even moss, like you see green. Now I'm going to show you guys what the Anthonites look like under different colored lights. We'll start with green. Blue.
Oh wow, it looks too dark.
Red.
Oh, that's scary.
Oh,
That's scary.
this is so scary. I like the blue. I like that it looks so scary.
And finally, Skittles.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Okay, this looks cool.
I like Skittles too. Very yummy. Skittles are yummy.
And then white.
Now you guys should follow me this way whenever you're ready. We'll be heading over this way, and we'll head into Funhouse Passageway. Well, they no longer grow. They
I
only
don't know
grow.
what made them grow.
That we don't know. We just know it happened in the vacuum. There's many theories. Like
Is it organic? Or is it a mineral?
it's a mineral.
Okay.
So we think maybe like the pressure of the vacuum might have like pulled the calcium out or something like that.
Rocks and kept expanding and
Yeah.
expanding like that.
That's like a theory of ours, but that has a couple holes in it. So we don't really know what caused
Yeah,
it.
so if this thing was a little pressure in here than everywhere else in the cave, the higher would be pushing or pulling stuff out of the rocks. I mean,
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense how, that would be why it would make the spikes there, because it's like kind of pulling it and stuff.
Yeah. You have a question?
How many people have gone to jail for touching the crystals?
Not in my door. But someone got it at one point at least. Watch your head and watch your step. There's a lot of twists and turns, but this is the last place you'll be seeing the Anthonites. You guys can actually, you know, you can throw me down real quick. Make sure you watch this part
Yes.
especially. It's a pump and a low ceiling.
Watch your head, guys.
And it's slippy.
It's very wet, isn't it?
What?
It's very wet. The
Yes,
moist.
very wet.
It doesn't make you slip.
When you do 4 trips, you find exhausted. How do you, when you come in this kind of moist atmosphere?
It's a little tiring. It's when I'm on my fourth tour. Yeah, it can be a little tiring. I've only had it happen a